Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Great Wizard Bukake, your host. Our anti-heroes have found Ginny during their search for Nine Fingers Keene. Echo finally got birthday presents she liked. The Forsaken negotiated a price to kill Larry the explosives dealer, and Quinny started researching the Good Works Corporation. But will Ginny blow the team's cover, or will the team blow hers? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Ginny Brownbarrow has delivered you some drinks. You're in the Three Old Kegs in the upper sort of northern part of Baldur's Gate. Currently here at the tavern in order to wait for Nine Fingers Keene to find you. Make contact only for Ginny to arrive at your table. She's looking different than usual. Her hair is dyed just kind of a muddy kind of black, just kind of pulled back, wearing it in kind of a messy ponytail. She is in the similar kind of diner outfit to what you've seen. So, just kind of a light green sort of shirt with an apron over it, with like the servant notepad tucked in a corner. She's got a little name tag that says Janice, and she's wearing large glasses, which is a little unusual for her, as well as slightly overdone makeup in just a degree shy of. If you remember the episode of The Office where Phyllis goes and gets overdone 80s makeup with
everybody gets a makeover.
In order to go sell it. So just that, we're just dialed back a little bit, but just kind of a little overdone, a little trying too hard. She seems, as she's incredibly surprised to see all of you, but also deeply embarrassed that any of you are seeing her in this guise. But she immediately snaps back into server mode and just says, well, hi, everyone. Hi, welcome to the Three Old Kegs. I'm Janice. I'll be taking care of you today. Here are your waters. I see you've already got a kids menu for this lovely young lady here.
Murder Child.
Oh, Murder Child. Lovely to meet you, Murder Child. Welcome. You guys celebrating a special occasion here?
Juniper wishes she were here to scold you.
Oh, Juniper. I don't know. Hey, you fucking. What are you doing?
That's enough, Echo.
Murder Child.
Sorry, apologies, Janice. I mistook you for someone else.
Janice, I'll have an ale.
An ale? Okay. Yep. One ale for Mr.
Forsaken is my name.
Oh,
and
we're doing that again.
Homicide
Okay.
is my game.
Okay. For Mr. the Forsaken, one ale. Don't need to see any ID because I can see you've been around. Okay, great. How about for the rest of you?
Coffee.
Coffee. Okay. Sure thing.
Macaroni and cheese, please.
And one mac and cheese. Do you want the adult size or the kid size?
The kid size.
All right, one kid size.
And what
mac
are you
and
having,
cheese.
Mr. Poon?
Coffee, please. Coffee.
Excellent.
And he says, you can put it on the Poon tab. She goes, and
Disgusting.
Ginny pulls a face and just says, okay, sure thing. I will be right back with your orders. And just, again, kind of a bit of a furtive, like, this is awkward glance, but also wants to kind of keep up the ruse. So she just smiles and runs off. Someone's like, Janice, table 3. And she's like, yeah, I'm on it. And runs over there.
Janice seems tense. I don't know why.
Well, it's obviously very busy here, so
I
she's just
don't
probably
know.
working hard.
She's
Probably tense because she's a liar.
What is Janice lying to us about? Are the specials unavailable today?
Why would we engage with that kind of remark? The Forsaken?
Mr. Poon is just throwing away his straw and just drinking, just dead-eyed staring at the table, drinking his water.
I'm keeping an eye out for servants of the Nightmare Lord. What if we're being observed by this Janice?
I don't think we are.
That's naive.
Mr. Poon leans over to you, Forsaken says, I actually haven't seen her working here before, so...
She's
maybe.
New on staff at a time of crisis. This stands out to me.
I mean, you would all hear that as well. It's a small table.
Yeah. Quinny, I now has an internal thing of like, am I the only one? Well, no, obviously Echo recognized my daughter. Did the Forsaken not recognize my child? I'm just saying, like,
Can you roll a wisdom saving throw? I'm going to throw this from the side, whether or not you can figure this out.
11.
That's good enough. The Forsaken hasn't met Ginny. It doesn't share Butthole's memory. So the
Yeah,
Forsaken
sure.
doesn't know Ginny
Although he knows
exists.
we met Duke Ravengard. He had no problem recalling that.
Did he? You told him the plan. I blame you.
Oh my God.
That's what I thought it was, but
Fuck, man.
Yeah, all right. So Quinny will say, it's nothing. Drop it.
This is strange.
We can talk about it later, but
You're
just drop
on-
it for now.
You're on Janice's side.
I just want to get my food from Janice so that she can get on with the rest of the work she's doing.
You want food, but you only ordered a drink.
Yeah. Are you suspicious of me right now?
Yes.
Do we need to go step outside?
I think
Do you want to
should,
fight me?
No, I
I
want to
think
talk
you
to
should
you.
both get some air or like go to the washroom or something.
Yeah. Do you want?
Well, do you want to go outside or do you want to go to the bathroom?
Can you make sure that you watch him?
I'm watching you, Mr. Poon.
I am terrified of you. I just want my coffee
Great.
and to go home.
Let's step outside really quick.
I was expecting the washroom, but outside will do.
No, I'm
Follows you
not
outside.
driving
Yeah.
this bus anymore.
Yeah.
So sure, yeah.
We'll be right back. I get up and I step outside into the street. I'm assuming it's a busy morning,
100%.
people coming and going. So just quietly and discreetly, I will say to you, if you come out to join me, I assume,
he's
just
fine.
like, Janice is my daughter, Ginny. She is undercover. She came here with us, and she was instructed to blend in, get undercover, and start collecting information.
Did you teach your daughter how to do her makeup?
No. Why would you ask me that?
Because it's bad, and I didn't know if it was your fault
So
or
who
someone
taught
else's
you
fault.
to do makeup?
I don't do makeup.
But you just know good makeup from bad makeup.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe you can teach her then when you're back in Uncle
No, I
mode.
don't have those skills.
Oh my God.
Clearly, neither do you.
Again, I didn't teach her any of that.
Yeah, I can tell.
Okay, well, I'm so glad I caught you up.
How are we going to get out of this thing where Janice is clearly suspect? Because she is.
Am I talking to Butthole right now?
No, I'm whispering, you fucking idiot.
What do you mean, how do we get out of this thing? Drop it, like I said.
She got hired today. Mr. Poon's going to pick up on it. He's going to know there's something going on.
Because you won't shut up about it. Leave it
I
alone.
know, but I already talked about
So
it.
stop talking about it.
He's going to know that's suspicious. He knows me.
I don't care.
He and I have a bond.
Hey, let's put that on me then, okay? Follow my instructions and stop talking about it and let the consequences fall on my head, okay?
Okay.
Okay. And I go back into the restaurant.
The Forsaken sits down and says, if you touch Janice, Mr. Poon,
Oh my
I will
God.
rip your head
I
off.
said drop it.
I did drop it. We're not looking into Janice anymore, Mr. Poon, or I will kill you.
Holy shit, your interpretation of instructions is just exceedingly
I'll
buck
leave a
wild.
big tip. Okay?
Excellent.
Okay,
Take it off the Poon tab.
I will. This is the worst day of my life. And then Janice comes by. Says, okay, so we've got 2 coffees. We've got a tank of ale. This is, Tyler, what's the shitty local ale called at this tavern?
It's shitty. Like,
Shitty and like it's a snooty microbrew.
Oh, okay.
That's supposed to be impressive. That the local area brews.
it's gonna be like, some stupid like folksy sounding farm shit. Brickleberry Bliss.
Here's your Brickleberry Bliss. It's local. It's brewed just down the street. And honestly, you picked a really good one. Everyone loves the Brickleberry Bliss. So she has to check her notes. to get the
sorry,
name right.
sorry about the alliteration. Yeah.
No, it's fine. She's also it's like first day or third day or something. So it gives you your tankard of ale. It comes in like a very fancy glass rather than a standard tankard.
Ugh.
And she says, and your macaroni and cheese will be coming up in just a few minutes. They're just still firing up the oven. It's in there right now.
And Hitman, you wanted food.
Just the coffee's fine. Thank you.
Okay, well that's great. You guys let me know if you need anything else. I'm happy to get it for you. Are you folks okay?
We're all good here. Thank you.
Can you roll me a persuasion?
Just get her out of here, away from this psychopath. Persuasion?
Yep.
10.
10. Says, okay, if you're good.
Our mission progresses well, Janice.
How are you doing, Janice?
Oh,
Yes.
well, I'm glad to hear that. I love hearing
Do
that my
you
table's
like your
missions are-
job here?
Yes, it's proving a very interesting time here, and it's nice to be able to meet so many interesting people, most of whom don't even notice I'm here. So yeah, it's pretty good. They have some weird dress code stuff, some very strange dress code stuff.
Is that why your face looks weird?
That is why my face looks great. Yes, no. Phyllis helped me do it. She's
just
one of the hosts here. She's a heavy hand with the brush, but it's what the customers expect here. In the patriarch just love a good smiling face to greet them when they arrive. So anyway, and you looking around, you can see like many of the servers have this, like, gender doesn't matter. This is just a standard over makeup look across the staff. Because anyway, I'll be back with your macaroni and cheese when it's ready. But I'm glad to hear things are going well. And you made a new friend, Mr. Poon, who's just, again, like, not making eye contact, just staring directly down into his coffee.
Good choices, Mr. Poon. Good choices.
Thank you, Janice.
Okay, great.
Janice, can I one more thing?
Yeah, of course.
Can I have another placemat to draw on for later?
Oh, wow. You made that one awesome. Yeah, you can have as many as you want, little girl.
Thanks. I just want one especially from you.
Oh, well, so fucking cool. And she skitters off. You can have a point of inspiration for making Ginny's day. Everyone else is treating her like a scrub, but Echo is making her feel wanted and valued.
Also, just like she can write on it if she wants.
Yeah.
So now that we know Janice is a friend, who do we think has
she
been?
just works here?
Who do we think?
And drop it. I said to drop it. She's our server.
I have dropped my investigation of Janice. Who do we think is observing her, and should we kill them?
The Forsaken, can I talk to you outside again?
I love this isn't even like a die roll. This is just pure Forsaken.
He follows you outside.
I am become the die roll.
Just outside again. What are you doing?
I'm trying to do what you wanted me to do. I dropped my investigation. I'm being supportive.
I need you to explain to me how the things that you're doing are helpful, because I just don't see it.
Mr. Poon is no longer a danger to Janice. Knowing that she is being observed and most people aren't noticing her, but some people are, those people clearly need to be eliminated to keep her safe. I don't know if you've noticed this. I'm not a good liar. I've told every person I've met exactly what our plan is, and I've told them I am the Forsaken.
Yes. I know
That's
this.
how I exist.
Okay.
Lies,
Are you still working on telling me how you're helping?
Lies are
Because
for
it's starting to sound like you're not.
lies are for the gods because they don't exist. I say harsh truths and kill my way to victory.
Here's your harsh truth for you, or a question, I guess. Why are you so mad at something that doesn't exist?
Because everybody won't stop fucking talking about it.
Hey, in the spirit of that, never talk about Janice again. How about that?
What do I do when she comes to the table?
Accept your food and eat it. Your
I
drink.
didn't order food.
Great. We're
Neither
the same.
did you. You're blowing your own cover story.
I don't care. Then just drink your drink. Drink your drink and wait for Nine Fingers to show up. Do you understand?
I will not speak to Janice.
Thank you. Do not wait, come back. Do not speak about Janice. You strike Janice from your memory.
I should remain silent.
What does that mean? See, now we need clarity here, because I say one thing and you go in and say, if you look at Janice, I will kill you, Poon, and that was not what I wanted.
I
So
dropped
what
the
does that mean?
investigation and had him drop it as well.
And explicitly, what does it mean when you say, I shall remain silent? What does that mean?
I can't keep track of the Janice-related circumstances that could come up, so I will say nothing altogether.
About Janice.
You want me to talk about other things, but not Janice.
You can talk about whatever you want. We're gonna meet Nine Fingers, hopefully.
And if someone brings up Janice, what do I say?
If someone brings up Janice, why don't you let me take the lead? How's that sound?
Excellent.
Great.
If you had simply not told me that Janice was your daughter, this could have been avoided.
Wow. Sorry.
You know what? you're right. I'm sorry. And I just go in. Just like, fuck it. Whatever I need to say to end this.
Roll a deception check. Ryan, can you roll insight, I think?
22.
Oh, now you have 22 insight? Deception. That's a 28.
Okay, he's sorry.
Yes. Now the plans are not my own. We're in the hitman's world now. There is no Janice. There are no words.
I'm gone for all of this.
Yeah,
within plans.
Yep. Great.
I imagine you're just
Super
McConaughey
reassuring.
smoking outside.
Yeah.
But it's a cigar instead of a cigarette.
Plans within plans.
I am this close.
Silence within silence.
This close to tarnishing an entire nation's reputation just to get rid of this guy and bring back King Butthole. It's not
I will
worth it.
cause so many international incidents, it'll make your head spin.
Forsaken is going to come back in and take his seat.
All right, Janice comes back with the mac and cheese and three colorable menus for you, Echo.
Thank you, Janice.
Oh, you're welcome. You still have everything you need?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
I look at the menus.
One has a ink stain as though it's as though something was drawn on top of it. So like if you take a piece of paper,
Yeah.
right through it, so that's clear she's not like just writing you a note that
Cool.
says, "I'm fine, things going well. We'll be in touch."
All right. Thank you, Janice. These are perfect.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Well, enjoy the first few bites. I'll be back to see how you're doing soon. See if there's any interesting news or updates you want to tell your server. You know, people love talking to their servers. So, if you want to fill me in on anything, that's the time to do it. But okay. Otherwise, I've got other tables who are kind of pricks. I'll be back. And she picks up like all the empty water glasses that Mr. Poon was drinking while waiting for his coffee. Just stressed drinking water. Says, I'll bring back some fresh ones. Okay. All right. That's great. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay.
The Forsaken has been smoking and just staring into her eyes silently the whole time.
Quinny's on the outside of the table, just like staring daggers at you, trying to catch your gaze, just like leaning in,
Yeah. Ginny.
but can't.
Ginny like hunches her shoulders a bit as she walks away. I mean, none of you get an inside seat to Ginny's brain, but she's just being like, "Oh no, I must have really fucked this up." Mr. Uncle Butthole looks so mad.
Oh my God.
So she disappears back into the crowd, and you're drinking your coffee. It's one of those things where it's like a stakeout. It's just an interminably long wait before eventually, as you're eating, a manager comes by in the classic like restaurant manager vibe thing. And she isn't wearing like the ridiculously overdone makeup, but just wearing like very plain outfit, has a little name tag, comes over and says, "Hi, yeah, I just wanted to make sure everything's going all right for you guys here. Is the food up to your standards?"
And I look at Nug. Does he register any kind of recognition that this is?
He is Donald Glover meeting LeVar Burton level of just like
Great, we broke Nug. Super.
wide eyes panicked at this lady coming over.
At her. Okay,
yeah,
well, that's a little
yeah.
more. Okay.
And she looks at him and just like kind of shakes her head and says, "You see, this is why you're not high on my list here, Mr. Poon. Hi, folks. Listen, you've all been such great patrons today. I just thought that maybe you would like an upgrade to a slightly nicer seat. We just had a vacancy upstairs, so if you like a little more privacy, there's a private booth waiting for you up there."
Yes, thank you. We would love some privacy for some just private time.
Okay,
Yeah, thank
wonderful. And your server's been good here today?
you. Server's been great. Thank you.
Great. She hasn't been asking any questions that you don't want?
Just about, ordering food. So normal server stuff.
Okay. Great. And she looks at Mr. Poon and he just nods. She goes, "Okay, well, that's fine then. So listen, if you want to go get situated up there, I'll have everything brought up to you, and you might be able to have an interesting conversation up there, okay?" And then she like knocks on the table with her like four-fingered hand.
Great.
Okay. Well, you folks have a good one then. I'll see some of you upstairs. Okay, great.
And
Puts a hand on Poon's shoulder, and he just picks up his coffee, nods to all of you, and just like leaves.
Yep. raise a coffee mug. Thank you, Nug. And just, yeah.
So, yeah, you all make your way up. There's a lift for you.
Actually, well, the chair can hover upstairs.
They still have a lift if you want to use it, because not everyone has your cool chair. So up to you.
Well,
If you want to
nice.
hover your way up, that's fine. Yep. Great.
Did any of us get to notice the secret message that Ginny left for Echo?
Roll perception. I don't know that you'd be looking for it necessarily. If you think you would have been over Echo's shoulder.
I mean,
or would
Echo
you have
asking for more placemats, and I'm pretty sure that Echo knows.
Okay, well, and also Echo, if you would have just shown them
yeah,
this.
well,
Okay.
Echo would have said when they were no longer in the company of one Mr. Poon.
Okay, so on your way up the stairs.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Okay. Then if Quinny was like, you just say, "Oh wow, great drawing, honey," you just rip off the part where the message is, crumple it up, and just eat it.
Passing server goes, "Oh, someone's hungry." Mm-hmm. Phyllis continues on her way. All right, so you make your way upstairs, and upstairs there's a lot more kind of like more private booths type spaces. They're not obviously fully enclosed, but enough that people can have privacy. And you can see there's a couple of like high stakes card games going on up here, and just some sort of other stuff. There's a lot of people who are clearly part of patriarch groups involved in like deep debate about policy that clearly aren't at High Hall today, or instead drinking and talking about it instead of actually showing up for the parliament. But they're deep in conversation. It's one of those places that is more private but also public enough that it's not like that's the clandestine table. When you arrive to the table, Nine Fingers Keene is already sitting there. She's changed into sort of like civilian clothes, and has a half-drunk mug of ale and like a half-finished sort of like sandwich and fries situation, and is just reading a book, just thumbing through like a Volo adventure guide. And as you show up, she's like mouth full, and she goes, grabs a napkin, like dabs her mouth, and says, "Oh, hey guys, you're finally here. Oh, that's great. You guys are thank you, Phyllis. They're here. Thank you." And like Phyllis waves from downstairs, and she says, "Oh yeah, come on over, guys. I'm sorry. I hope you don't mind. I got started without you. But your travel must have taken you a long time to. You're still wearing your armor. Oh, geez. Look, just sit down. We'll get some drinks." And she like snaps her fingers, and a different server comes by and does the usual like, "Hi, I'll be taking over from Janice, your previous server. Don't worry, we're splitting the tip. Can I get you guys anything?"
I'll just have another coffee.
Coffee. Okay, yep, that's great. Coffee for you.
Nothing.
All right, nothing for the big guy. How about you?
Do you have cookies?
We do. Freshly baked.
2, please.
2 cookies. All right, coming right up. And so you all kind of like crowd in, and Nine Fingers Keene just like gestures to the server as they turn to go, and just like gives a little like, "Hey, can you like close the blinds thing?" And the server goes, "Oh, of course, you guys want you want to catch up on your own. Okay, that's great." Pulls sort of a curtain over, enclosing the space, and a globe lights up in the middle of the table, casting just a nice warm color over the space. She says, "Okay, so I understand that you folks have been looking for me. You've been causing quite a ruckus. And I think I have you to thank for a certain slaughterhouse being out of business, along with a couple of turncoat trader sumbitches. So that's wonderful."
That's correct, yeah.
"What's your deal?"
The Nightmare Lord is our deal. We want him out of here.
"And who are you that you think you can just come in here and do that?"
Well, I'm the hitman, and that's the Forsaken, and that's Murder Child.
And this is Captain Puppy.
And that's Captain Puppy.
This is what we do.
Okay.
We're very good at it.
First and foremost, which Forsaken are you? You the original one, or are you the other one?
The original.
Okay. All right. Interesting. They're gods to... the Nightmare Lord isn't a god, right?
That's fine. We deal with technicalities as we will.
Okay. Who hired you? What I understand from your book is that you're just a force of nature kind of guy.
And I am, but sometimes people can harness the force of nature.
All right. Well,
like my friend Hitman here.
Hitman. Okay, so Hitman, you're the brains of this operation?
Somewhat.
And she your daughter or something? What's going on over here?
Somewhat. I think I think we share the brains of this. We all sort of excel in our own little fields of sowing chaos and disarray, but let's say that I am focusing that like a point of light on certain things.
Okay.
And right now, the Nightmare Lord is in my sights.
Mm-hmm. And what comes after the Nightmare Lord for you? Is this kind of a all crime must perish, I swear vengeance for my parents in the dead of night kind of thing? Or
No. After the Nightmare Lord, we leave.
Interesting.
One of our goals is professionalization of crime.
So, Mr. the Forsaken, you know who I am and what I do here, right?
I know who you are. I'm not entirely sure what you do, to be honest, but I know what I'd like you to do.
That is what I have been attempting to do for quite some time, and honestly, pretty good at it. You can ask anyone. They don't all get the pleasure of meeting me. Also, consider this a professional courtesy for bumping off BJ. Normally, I would have sent one of my agents, not a Mr. Poon, but perhaps one of my ladies' court to come meet you. But you really did me a solid there. So
Yeah, he's a jerk.
He's not great, but my hands are somewhat tied these days. I had to use someone so low on my ladder that the Nightmare Lord wouldn't even notice. So that's kind of who I've got left right now. But the guild is meant to keep crime working in this city, to keep it functioning in a sound and reasonable way. And I had that till this motherfucker came in and started wrecking it. And unfortunately, I can't move against him because he is as well connected as I am, because apparently he had some whole fucking spy network behind him. And as a result, he was able to just infect the whole city overnight. All of the years I spent building blackmail material, building up alliances, bribery, all of it shot to shit immediately because this motherfucker had access to resources I didn't. So yes, professionalization of crime, love it, wonderful, do that all day. What do you want to do? You want to establish a new guild? Because then we do have a problem.
No, we don't want to establish a new guild. We honestly didn't know how to contact you, certainly don't know how to contact or find or kill the Nightmare Lord, but we figured making enough waves, showing up on your map would put us on his, assuming it's even a he, this Nightmare Lord.
From what I believe, yes. That's what I've heard.
So this is a phase of a larger plan, all working towards flushing this guy out, making things as uncomfortable for him as possible, losing the control that he took, wresting it back to you and the guild.
You roll me a persuasion? You're going to have advantage because you've been blowing up a lot of shit.
Rolled a 2, so here we go. Oh, yes. Oh, good. 22.
22. So she seems to consider this and kind of nods and says, okay, well, I like half of that. I find myself in a particularly uncomfortable position as this Nightmare Lord has managed to get leverage on me. I can't act against him directly, or one's very near and dear to me, very far away from here, will pay.
I understand that that's his method of doing things.
It is. And he has managed to accomplish what other agents of variety, the Zentarum amongst others, have attempted for years. The Dead Three would really love nothing more than to just root me right out of here. But he, with his vast network he was able to tap, managed to find out where my family is, and that's not great. So I can't do shit, and it has been driving me nuts as everything I built is slowly ripped away from me by this upstart asshole. So if you want to bring him to light and destroy him, wonderful. I wish I could say I have resources to assist you. I currently do not. He managed to root up a lot of the blackmail material I had on some lower level patriarch, which made all the other ones leave or cloister themselves high within the upper city outside even my reach. So a lot of my reach is limited right now. I will help you however I can, but I cannot be seen to assist you in any way, shape, or form. Plus, as I said, I'm kind of down to like my nearest and dearest, my lady's court, and Mr. Poon. That's kind of the quality of agent I can submit to you right now.
That's fine. I assume you feel safe enough to be having this conversation with us at all.
Oh, I wouldn't have showed up otherwise, but desperate times, et cetera, et cetera. Plus, I haven't pulled the manager to customer switch in a while, and I just want to see if I still got it,
Okay. Then what can you tell us here in this safe place where we can exchange information?
Well,
What do you know about the Nightmare Lord? Surely you must know more than the layperson.
I would love to tell you that I know all about him, but he really came in like a bolt of lightning on a clear day. Normally with these sorts of things, it's like like ink slowly staining a page or water rolling in. You can kind of see it start. And usually these folks, they come in and they rattle the saber. I understand you've elevated Mr. Pancake, for instance, in Twin Songs.
We wanted to get Twin Songs back up and running to proper guild expectations.
I was not expecting the death of Straight Stick, but
Neither was Straight Stick.
that is the best way, though, isn't it? Mr. Pancake is a good example of what the usual version of this looks like. Just a loud braggart who comes in, starts swinging their dick around, saying, I'm going to be the new I'm going to be the Nightmare Lord. I'm going to take over, or they take over a district, or they knock off a kingpin, and suddenly they think they own the place. And you have time. You have time to root out what matters to them, hold it over them, destroy them. Lots of options. I had none of those with this. This Nightmare Lord just seemed to be everywhere all at once, simultaneously. What my agents have been able to discover is his connection to the Unseen Hand, which was a group that was active here and throughout the world for some time, far-reaching, I believe, but based on our best information, a war cleric or paladin or bishop, archduke, something like that, out of far-flung nation Naka, somewhere out in the east. I've encountered their agents before. They're usually in search of rare and arcane things. We've traded blackmail material, usual criminal network stuff, But whatever happened to the head of that organization, suddenly their agents were astray. We heard about the death of, was it Archibald Tingler, I think was his name, but a bigwig out of a cod died, and then there's the Lich thing, which we heard. I'm sorry, I don't know your provenance. Are you aware of? You obviously knew about the zombies, but were you aware of where they were coming from?
No.
Okay, well, a Lich rose in the east. Deception.
A 3. I'm wearing a mask. Does that help me at all?
Yeah, actually, sure. You can roll the advantage.
Oh, thanks, buddy. A 4 instead.
Nice.
That's about as much help as I think a mask would be.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a 17.
I rolled a 16 plus for stats. So she goes, oh, you don't? Okay, well, I'll humor you. When the Lich rose, the network seemed to kind of fall into disarray. And as it would seem Mr. the Forsaken has indicated, crime...
Forsaken is just completely bored watching the environment and ignoring this part of the conversation.
Crime without...
This would all be news to him, though, right?
He doesn't care about the world.
Okay. I just wanted to I'm still trying to track what he does and does not
godless
know.
monster. Crime without a purpose is very dangerous. It's dangerous to criminals. It's how people get caught. It's how crackdowns begin and opportunity windows close. So it would seem this Nightmare Lord rose through the ranks of the Unseen Hand, still had contacts within them, and as a result was able to use them in a way that his previous handlers did not care to. So he, in a sense, inherited a chunk of that network and put it to use, which I suspect you know, but you know.
All right, yeah.
As a result, he was able to call in, as I said, blackmail on members of the Patriarch, cut off a lot of my networks almost immediately. One of the dangers with being a long-standing person running a guild such as this, running a large criminal enterprise, is I survive based on anonymity. So my ability to quickly crack down is somewhat limited when a lot of my people start going missing and dying or chasing after their ex-wife or whatever. The kingpins are really only as loyal as their own interests. And as I said, don't want to resort to having to hire mercenaries with an Antarm or some nonsense to sort this. So I've been on the back foot, I'll admit it, but I'm hoping that one of my agents can bring little Callum Shen into the game on my side at least, and maybe that can help.
What if instead of little Callum Shan, we gave you Dust Hawk Hill?
She considers that and says, the werewolves. You want to go fight a bunch of werewolves?
We do.
To be clear, we don't want to fight a bunch of werewolves. We're going to kill an entire clan of werewolves.
See, this is where the different kind of specialities come in.
Good, good. Yes, they're a blight on Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, and I have personal beef with them.
Good, well, and she kind of like looks at her hand briefly at the missing finger and says, I understand a personal beef, and the vengeance, I don't care what anyone says, the vengeance is excellent. So I wish you the best in your beef
Thank you, Miss
resolution.
Keene.
All right, well, yes, Dusthawk Hill would be in anyone's hands, but Zog's would be excellent. He has been dealing directly with the Nightmare Lord.
So that is what I wanted to know. Because the Nightmare Lord comes in and breaks up the guild into teeny tiny little pieces and doesn't seem to pick them up, just leaves them out there fractured and all around Baldur's Gate. So what is he gaining from this? He's taken Dusthawk Hill and the werewolves are loyal to him. Do you know who else is loyal to him?
Well, the dearly departed Mr. Harvey, who I understand you obliterated with some kind of explosive.
Yep.
Excellent.
Pummeled and then obliterated.
Yes, the bloody hands always seeking more. Here's the thing. A lot of people just want to expand for no reason. They aren't just content with what they have, with the holdings that they have.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very much Harvey and the Bloody Hands' intent. They were dealing with the Dead Three. They were dealing with the Nightmare Lord. But Zog and his crew have benefited greatly by assisting Nightmare Lord. I never dealt with them. Zog himself didn't... Here's the thing. The werewolves of Dusthawk Hill have been a rumor of Baldur's Gate for years, almost as famous as the dragon turtle in the bay that Straight Stick may have told you about before you murdered him. There have always been wolves, but Zog himself was abroad until the dead rose. It would seem even werewolves fear some things, and he fell back to Dusthawk Hill. It was a real pain in the ass because suddenly the wolves organized and he began to add more to his ranks. The power he can promise them is far greater than wealth and status for the weak-minded and short-sighted people. Getting the power of lycanthropy seems like a really sick deal. So, yes, Dusthawk Hill and his exports have been an increasingly big thorn in my side. Taking that out would be excellent.
His exports being temporary werewolf potions?
We've heard of a variety coming out. Some increase strength, some speed.
They do different things. Okay.
Yes, and before my networks fell, my agents were beginning to describe these shipments being sent very far afield. Unfortunately, Baldur's Gate is a wonderful port, so if you're trying to get things around the world, that's the way to do it. But it would seem that production really only kicked up when the Nightmare Lord appeared. So whatever they're doing, he has a hand in it. So, yes, taking them off the field is helpful. In terms of what he gets out of it, he's just replacing guild-sanctioned groups one by one. Him moving the slaughterhouse into Stony Eyes was meant to strangle out Sow's Foot. Allowing Twin Songs and Brampton to destroy each other would allow him to install new people. He's, to the expansion of it, reaching very, very far. If you're all here to kill him, none of you are from Baldur's Gate, so surely you must have done something to really piss you off out in the world. Am I mistaken?
No, you're not. To your point, he didn't come from nothing. He didn't show up out of nowhere. He came from somewhere, and so did we.
Good. Well, look, as someone who grew up cowering under the statue of Minsk in the square, dreaming of the day that I might run things instead of just having to steal a heel of bread or a gold coin here and there, everybody who's down the ladder wants to be on the top of the ladder. And my guess is when this Nightmare Lord saw that no one was at the helm, he figured it was his time to rise. If I know anything about these cloak and dagger spy master types, is that they're always just waiting for their chance to wear the hat. So that would be my guess. He's not content with Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate is where he lives. He wants to make sure his yard is clean. But this is just the beginning.
Well, sounds like it's going to be the end.
That would be delightful.
And you're telling me that you cannot lend us any kind of forces or aid in taking Dusthawk Hill. Is that right?
I can tell you that there is only one way in.
That's helpful.
My recommendation would be to look very, very carefully at the shoreline by the lightning split tree. You'll see it clinging to the edge of the cliff like the Nightmare Lord clings to his newfound power. The wall is not as it seems. I've never been inside Dusthawk Hill. None of my agents have survived trying to get inside Dusthawk Hill, so I have no information about what is inside. But I am aware that it is an illusionary wall.
Illusory wall.
So, also best to prepare for some magic. The werewolves like to play up the old myths that they're a bunch of snarling, howling monsters, but Zog is incredibly smart and incredibly now well-equipped. And the fact that they can summon a permanent illusion is quite concerning to me and should be to you as well.
Okay.
I've even heard tell that he is using portals to move things in and out.
Portals.
Portals. Good to know. I understand your spies, agents never come out alive. You don't know what's going on in there in Dusthawk Hill, but your best guess, what are their forces like?
There are more wolves joining his crew constantly. As I said, low-level thugs and minions seem to find a pretty tantalizing offer from him. The offer of power, unearned power, is quite attractive to lower-level criminal elements. So you can likely expect a lot of wolves in there, but their skill level will be variable. The danger, of course, with unearned power is that you don't necessarily have the skill to back it. They may be strong, they may not be that hearty. They may not have the actual combat skills of a Flagellant. Zog himself will have his, elite guards. He's been at this game a long time, but even he was gone a long time. So we all felt the cold touch of the undead when it rose, and he lost a number of wolves then too. So expect numbers, expect strength, don't necessarily expect tremendous tactical prowess from all involved. He will have defenses, though.
Okay. And do you know of anyone who has tried to take a move against the Nightmare Lord in this way? Does he respond differently to out-and-out aggression? Obviously, his main method is to kill you discreetly and everyone you care about and blackmail and threaten and things like that. But has he ever been seen? Has he ever come out and struck someone down?
As someone who spends a lot of time professionally not being seen, I have been seen more than he has.
Got it.
But his reach is rather far, and I will fully admit, since we're in polite company, that many of my agents flipped when it became clear that he was the power in town.
Okay.
People fear strength, and they fear fear. He uses terror tactics, and people respond to that. It's not sustainable. There's no way to live.
No.
But for a flash-in-the-pan tyranny, fine.
And what would need to happen for you to come to our aid? Nothing short of the death of the Nightmare Lord?
Yes. I mean, you have a friend in Nine Fingers Keene and the Guild if you can remove the Nightmare Lord. If you cannot, you have a friend in Nine Fingers Keene who is about as useful as you've seen here today.
Okay.
But yes, if you can put him down, then Baldur's Gate is an ally to wherever you come from.
Okay, the Forsaken Murder Child, do you have any other questions or anything else we should figure out while we have Nine Fingers' ear here?
I mean, ask anything you have in mind first, Murder Child, and then I am interested in some things.
No, you can go, Mr. the Forsaken.
Excellent. This negotiation has been a dance, and I'm not a dancer. I'm a killer with a hammer, which is why I'm going to be a little bit more blunt, Nine Fingers. We've done certain things to make things easier for you, some of which you seem to be aware of, and others you do not. The Flaming Fists are active once again, coming down on the Nightmare Lord in the highest part of the city. The Rivington Rats, which were useless, have been replaced with the Rivington Ducks, back in control of the exterior docks. As you know, we have placed Remy Darkness in charge of the former Faithless that were useless, and now we have strengthened your friend Belcher, I believe, by giving him back his slaughterhouses. 2 things would be useful to us. 1, pulling Rilsa Rail back from the war for Little Calamshan. Frankly, give them their independence. Let them become another gang in your service, and Rilsa can have Dust Hawk Hill.
It is a mouthful.
When we are done there, a central location, powerful to you and powerful to your enemies. In return, we hope to be able to take Dust Hawk Hill and form a stand that this Nightmare Lord cannot afford to ignore. Perhaps gangs could stand with us through their loyalty to us, not loyalty to you. Then there are plans for after this. I don't understand them, and I don't care. There may be a fat guy who can explain them better to you at a future point. But one thing that would be, perhaps, of use. A list of those agents who turned coat. Names that can disappear in the night. We can turn terror against terror, and in the end show them the Nightmare Lord is only as strong as a shadow, while we are as strong as this hammer and our rage.
And she smiles, like very viciously. There's like, it's the shark smile. And she says, now that is a list I'd be very, very happy to provide. And I will get word to the gangs that are still loyal to me that should a new power rise in Dusthawk Hill, they are to be supported as best they can. I appreciate you rebranding Remy Pancake. I was a little concerned about that situation, so that's good. I do have one question for you.
I'm listening.
And she kind of like leans, a little condescending wonka, but in a legitimately interested way, leans a hand, her chin on her hand, says, so I hear you dated Merle.
Your question?
What was that like? How is she?
Really boring. She's horny a lot.
I remember.
Dangerous.
That too.
Tried to rob us. Failed.
And she like chuckles, like classic Merle.
Yes, she attempted to foil us, but was foiled in turn.
Well, some days I miss her, and some days I don't miss the attempting to fuck you over constantly. But, you know, have you really lived if you haven't dated a woman who can pick you up and crush you?
Nope. I mean, carry on.
He gets it. Yeah. In any case, if you see her again, tell her Nine Fingers says, go fuck yourself and call me.
Noted. Okay, murder child.
What?
Questions?
You wanted
Comments?
me to go first.
Concerns?
Can I kill a bunch of wolves?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, that was a given. We didn't need to have this conversation for that part of it.
Okay.
I guess I have an unrelated question. Just something that's kind of piqued our curiosity collectively as we've spent a little time here in Baldur's Gate. What do you know about the Good Works Corporation? Are they all above board there?
Oh, the Good Works Corporation. Honestly, they're my least favorite kind of criminal, other than, you know, Nightmare Lord types, which is the boring kind. They're just a business that buys up other businesses and then earns off of those businesses. It's kind of like a protection scheme, but all above board. It's terribly exhausting. But as far as I know, they're just a very savvy investment group. They have a good eye for businesses.
Right. Like they own this restaurant
do.
and inn.
And they haven't made my life difficult at all.
Are they aware that you sometimes operate out of here?
They must be, but if you don't want criminals operating out of your establishment, you don't buy it in Baldur's Gate. From what I've seen, they find the most profitable or most valuable businesses and purchase them. And I will say the quality of this place has increased. The decor and aesthetic and what was it the kids say? She looks at you, Echo, assuming you're a kid. Vibe? The vibe has changed. It's a little too neat now. It was a little dirtier before, which was better. You know, the dank is gone.
Sure, yeah, you gotta have dank.
Gotta have the
It's more
dank.
genuine.
Yes,
dank.
exactly. Authenticity. They and they have some strange choices. They rebranded the murky mortar to the musty mortar. Just strange choices all around. But regardless, they aren't any more evil than anyone else out to make a profit that I can see. But
Would it make sense that they would make an offer to buy Fun and Games, the weapons and explosives shop down in the Low City?
yes, if they're starting to try and buy a property down there, they may just want a monopoly on weapons shops, to be honest. But
Okay, just curious.
I have been curious myself. A few of my fronts have been approached with offers. We have rebuked them. They are very insistent, and the offers go up and up and up. If my fronts weren't more scared of me than they were greedy for them, I'm sure they would have taken the offers.
And the only changes they make are policy?
They seem to have a base level need to... I don't think they want to be embarrassed, is the sense I get. Actually, I'm going to roll a history check for her. She fails horribly, so she doesn't actually know that much about good works. But the sense I get from the customer cards, and she like pulls one off the table that is almost identical to the one you just saw. The brand seems to want consistency, so the experience must be fine or better, is my sense. And that's not to say they're immune to closure and destruction and other things as well. But no, they've... Yeah, she failed her history check, so she actually doesn't have much on this. She's like, I investigated them early on in my career, and I don't know, they've been in Baldur's Gate longer than I have, so.
Okay. All right, then. Well, team, are we ready to head out then?
Once we've got that list.
Right.
And she just, how would she do this? I guess she says, like, how fast can you...
I feel like she would dictate to us.
Yeah, I was going
Like,
to say,
I
how
know
fast
the
can you
names.
write?
Yeah.
Or are you good with memory stuff? She, like, points at the map. She's like, I could write it on one of these, but I don't want you to have to eat it or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty full. Why don't you tell us, and we'll just remember. And by remember, I mean, as the player, I'm going to write these names down.
Great. She proceeds to give you a list of a bunch of people.
Okay.
Cool.
You put them to memory. You are able to get the words out to gangs. We're not going to do 80 side quests to track down each individual target.
What?
No, that's part of the DLC package. You have to buy it later once the game's been out for a while.
Aww.
So she gives you a list of traders to track down and says, look, again, my hands are somewhat tied, but you folks seem like my favorite kind of either do-gooders or criminals. I don't really care which, so I'll assist you as I can. But
Is there a way that we can get in direct contact with you quickly?
Enough
of this middle poon business?
Yes. If you, talking like a verbal message or a written message?
Written, if time is not of the essence. Verbal, if we need to get in contact with you immediately.
If time is not of the essence, you can always post a missed connection in Baldur's Mouth. They will publish literally any of those. It costs 1 gold, and they'll add it to the back. What name should I keep an eye out for? What moniker will indicate that you're trying to reach me?
What name, Murder Child?
Oh my goodness.
Do you want to pitch?
Yeah, I want to pitch.
Mr. Toots.
I thought you were going to go with Mr. Ass Cheese.
I'm like,
We
Mr.
know he won't
Toots, we know
respond.
he's dead.
Yeah.
So he's
That's
perfect.
true.
Let's see. I don't think he has any friends or family. Seemed like everyone he worked with died, so Mr. Toots.
Toots the Tooth? You're sure he's dead?
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. He was
Wait,
in the
is that going
slaughterhouse
to be
when I blew it up.
recognized though?
Oh, no one knows the butcher's block as well as, no. If he's dead, then you'll
okay.
be fine. Okay, so Mr.
Also, Toots was his first name. Mr. Toots implies a last name.
Oh, really?
Usually.
Yes.
Wait, Mr. Toots. Wait, Toots was his first name?
I'll just leave an ad for Mr. Toots.
Thank you.
If you need to get verbal,
Tony Toots.
Mr. Anthony Toots.
Mr. Tony Toots, the
Mr.
perfect nom de guerre.
Yes, well, look for a message for Tony Toots. And if you need to get me quickly, I have agents located at most taverns and public houses throughout Baldur's Gate. If you go and ask if there's a reservation for Mr. Tony Toots, whoever my local agent who is installed there is will come find you. I'll get word out to them now.
Okay.
Send out my Toot signal.
Tony Toots, a name and a command, a true sign of power.
It sounds like a plan within a plan.
A plan within a plan.
Well, I don't often get starstruck, but it has been a pleasure to meet you, the Forsaken. I am a big fan.
Excellent. To murder! He yells, getting up and leaving the room.
Yeah. And as you all do, she just kind of like raises her glass as you leave and says, yes, to murder, and drinks. And with that, you head back out into Baldur's Gate to do just that.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christopher Little, George Dolby, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, Schrodinger's Pepper, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Nithrian, Garbo Ape, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dagger Rain, Rob L, Dia De Los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy Funky Head, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Shulzari, The Long Family, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, Alex Parr, Dragonfly, Megan Werner, A Man Out of Time, Curtis at FingerTechRobotics.com, Panda24NN, Shendra D, Your Homeboy Bones, Ellis Hatch, Odigenous, Beef Not Cheese, Kai Koa, Squire Solaire, Sandy Sassy Pants, Adam, Amira Lockhart, James Molina, Nick Hemsing, Alex LaFountain, Mickey Blake, Seth Cambron, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.